Yeah, having the producer, I think, makes it like a little bit less weird. You know, when there's not just two people in the room, there's three.
Do you feel weird?
I don't feel weird. It's just kind of like, just walking you into my apartment by myself. I'm like, okay.
Would you feel weird if it was a guy?
No, maybe. I don't know. I was just like, okay. I'm like, Amy, trust me. That's good.
I can beat the shit out of you.
I know, you could fuck me up. Dude, there's some weird dudes in the stand-up scene, though.
There are.
There's some fucking strange ones.
Every scene.
Would you say the guys are weirder in Austin or New York?
Well, there's more of them in New York, so it's New York.
Yeah.
But that's just a numbers game.
Yeah.
What
are the percentages?
I don't know. I think that the guys here are nicer, at least outwardly,
Yeah. Outwardly nice.
New York is more like you earn your keep in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Like you if you're funny, you're gonna make some good friends that are like also funny. So it just kind of depends.
That's what's up. And you're splitting time right now between Austin and New York.
Yeah.
How's that working out?
It's working out pretty well because I sublet my spot in New York when I'm here, and then
that's what's up.
Yeah.
I got to figure out how to do that because I feel like that's like a pretty
Facebook.
Really?
Yeah, and friends that are comics that travel or may like be moving or kind of like trying to decide.
You're doing like long term though. You've been down here for what, like a month now?
Yeah.
You're gonna stay for another two more?
I'll stay for a couple. I usually come down for like a couple months at a time, and then I'll head back up for a couple months and just rotate.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect timing right now while the weather's still shit in New York. Come hang out.
Yeah.
Come hang out in Austin.
Honestly, yeah, I got back from Austin in like January to New York, and it was so cold. I was like, I did this wrong.
Yeah, I know, dude. Like, I haven't lived through the Texas summer yet, but I've heard it's like absolutely like brutal. Borderline impossible.
But I made it, and I'm a whiny Jewish girl, so like if I can do it.
Now, are you like born and raised in New York City? Or like, no, Chicago? Where are you from?
I'm from Kansas City.
That's right. We just talked. Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
That's incredible.
KU Rock Chalk, right?
This is like a fucking Kansas sports revelation time. Like you guys never won anything for years, and now it's like you got a Super Bowl.
No, we won. It's been like probably 10 years since we won the basketball tournament, but like the Royals won the World Series a couple years ago.
That's right. The World Series that like I don't even remember. I used to watch every single baseball game growing up. Like I was like a diehard Red Sox fan, and I couldn't tell you the last time I sat down and watched like an entire MLB game start to finish. It's been like years.
They're really boring.
Boring as fuck.
Well, and everyone's attention span is shorter now with COVID, and then also maybe you grew up a little.
Yeah.
You just don't want to.
Yeah, baseball's like I don't know, who the fuck has 3.5 hours to just chill?
No one. Well, children.
Do they even want to watch a 3.5 hour baseball game? I feel like it's like old men.
It is.
Yeah.
Like old men in bars.
Yeah, it's a good it's a good chatting sport too. You talk between like the at-bats and stuff. You can relax and hang out. But I feel like if I'm watching it solo, I just like baseball is not a sport that I can watch by myself. Like living alone, I just feel like in between at-bats, I'm kind of zoning out. I'm looking at my phone. And I couldn't even tell you what's going on.
Yeah, I don't really care about sports all that much, but I like basketball the best.
Not your thing? Okay, wait. So KU hoops, and then do you guys have an NBA team down there?
We do not.
Okay, who do you got?
We got KU.
You got KU.
I mean, Bulls,
Yeah, people were probably fucking rioting in the streets down there, though, when KU won the whole thing, right?
Oh, on Mass Street? Yeah, I'm sure it was, like, crazy.
What's Mass Street?
Mass Street is in Lawrence. It's, like, the main strip that, like, you go out to bars and shopping and restaurants and stuff.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's it like growing up in Kansas? Like, there's...
As a Jew or in general?
Just in general. Like, are you from, like, a small town, or are you from Kansas City?
No, I'm from, like, a suburb. I'm from Overland Park. So I grew up, like, basically in a suburb, I went to a high school down the street. But I did have a small class. It was, like, 170, I think.
Like, for a high school class? Uh-huh. That's, like, pretty normal. I think that's what I had.
It?
Yeah, that's about, like, my hometown size.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it was totally, like, Kansas City is it's a pretty fun place. It's a great place to grow up. It's a really good place for like family, and they have great restaurants, and it's good. I like it there. If I would probably move back if I wasn't in like comedy and if I was like settled down.
Yeah. That's one of the shitty things about stand-up. It's like I feel like you've only got a handful of options where you can actually do this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where I would be living. Like, I feel like I'm still trying to, like, I don't know, live it up. So I would want to live in a city for a while. But at some point, like, your boy wants to move to the country. You know,
really?
like, oh, yeah.
I like city. I don't really like country. I feel like
not into it?
Stuck. Yeah, I'm not at all. I feel like I really like being in the middle of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's probably just from living in Chicago and New York, though, for the last, like, long time.
Yeah, Chicago, dude. Fucking A. So you were in Chicago for 15 years. Said,
13,
right?
yeah.
13. Yeah. And then you made, like, a pretty quick jump from teaching to stand-up.
Stand-up. Yeah, within, like, 3 years of starting stand-up, I quit teaching to pursue it. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Uh-huh.
So, like...
But I was also really, really done with teaching.
You were fed up.
I was just done. I didn't like. I was done day one. I was like, "This isn't for me."
Well, it might have been like part of like where you were teaching, right?
No,
like,
I loved where I was teaching.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, because I taught in the inner city, but like kids in the suburbs, they did you need your teachers? Like for anything, even in education, kind of not really. Like
maybe a little bit.
I don't know. Like I never needed my teachers when I was growing up. Like. They assigned us the work and taught us, but like if I had questions, I didn't go to them. Like I went to my friends or went to my parents and asked for help, and then and I never really looked at them as anything more than just my teacher. But my students, not all of them obviously, but a lot of them did see me as more than just like the lady that gives them all the homework.
They saw you as more than that.
Oh yeah.
So you had like real responsibility.
Yeah, when I go back to Chicago, like a lot of my old students come to my shows.
No shit.
Uh-huh.
How are they doing?
They're great.
Crushing it?
A lot of them are.
So what were you teaching again?
English.
I know. I literally told you right before we were doing this. I'm like, we're not going to talk about teaching, and then like, fucking sure enough, here we are.
Yeah, we're gonna stop though.
Okay, we can stop definitely. But inner city Chicago, that's fucking interesting.
Yeah.
And were you living in the inner city, like in like?
No, but I was living in Chicago. I was just living.
Eat that mic a little bit.
Oh, I was living more towards like the lake a little bit because, you don't want to. You need to get out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's the thing about like Chicago though in general is like when you go there, everybody tells you like, oh, it's shitty, it's dangerous, it's violent, and I'm sure it is like in some parts, but then you go to like the West Loop or like you're downtown, it's fucking incredible. It's incredible.
I mean, even the South Side gets a bad rap, I think, because like you have Hyde Park, I think it is on the South Side. It's like a beautiful area, and there's a lot of good things that are on the South Side and the West Side. So it's like, yeah, they're known for violence, but I don't know. It's a big city, and that's what happens. When you look at New York, it's the same thing. Like you see all this stuff happening everywhere. So you can either report on it or not. You can report on the good stuff too. But
yeah, there's some good shit going on in Chicago. Like Chicago in the summer, I think it's like
it's my favorite time to be in Chicago is the summer with all the street fests and just so much stuff going on. Yeah.
Dude, it's like you walk along the water there and like the water's so blue you could legit think you're in like the Bahamas or something.
That's true. Although I wouldn't like walk too close because like a bunch of needles from a hospital once washed up on them.
Wait, no shit.
Yeah, all used. Like,
oh my God.
They just disposed of them poorly. So sometimes the lake is like absolute garbage. The river more so.
How did they get all those needles out? Because you can't just like leave one. Otherwise somebody's just gonna be like, ow.
I have no idea. There's like there is a filter in the lake like way, way, way out. A huge like
wait, what?
Thing. I don't know. It looks like a home almost. It's like in the middle of the
There's a giant filter?
I think it's a filter.
Like it's a fish tank or something?
No, I think it's a filter. Like it gets rid of like just horrible stuff. I could be wrong, and maybe it's just someone's home. But I doubt it.
I mean, a filter in like a large fresh body of water would kind of make sense, right? Because some of that shit, like, I don't know, the ocean's kind of like self-cleaning. It's salt, right? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just getting more fucked up every day.
We clean the ocean sometimes when we pour a lot of oil in
we fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there haven't been any oil spills in the Great Lakes yet, I would imagine.
Not yet. I'd say give it time. We'll find a way.
We'll find a way to fuck it up and make it real bad.
Maybe olive oil. But yeah, no huge oil spills.
Yeah. Dude, so I don't know. How's New York right now? Like, what's it been like since it's sort of like opening back up?
I don't know. New York has been like really up and down the last few years, I guess, because when COVID gets hit with a new strain, like everyone in New York gets it. I feel like I was saying this on stage the other day that like with Texas, no one's careful here. Like nobody wears masks. No one sanitizes for the most part. Like and people will just go into a room that's shoulder to shoulder and just not even think twice about it. And in New York, it just doesn't really happen like that. And I think a lot of us like would pause and be like, there's no way I'm going in that room.
Yeah.
But I've had COVID twice in New York, and that's where I've been the most careful. And then here, I've not been careful at all, and I've never had it. And so I feel
I feel that for sure.
And when these Texans are like, COVID doesn't exist, I'm like, well, shit, maybe if you just say it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, build those fucking antibodies up.
It's just crazy, though. Yeah, but I've had it twice, but both times in New York, And the subways are a little shady right now, and that's how I get around. And it's just, I don't know. It's kind of just a little dangerous right now, day-to-day life, like going on the trains and doing, your daily
You can feel
routine.
the tension since COVID happened.
There's a lot of tension. Well, and I mean, it's just a lot of people. I was stuck in my apartment for a year. For the first year of COVID, and we were all just terrified because we were just watching bodies get piled up outside of hospitals when they were running out of room in refrigerators. They were like renting freezer trucks to store bodies like just on the street. And so we're all seeing this and just like doors locked in our place, not moving. And then when the Creek and the Cave, which was originally in Queens, LIC, when they closed, they moved down here, and I was like, oh, I'll come down and chill for a little bit because like I'm not in New York for comedy right now, which is the whole reason I moved, Yeah. So that's why that started. I mean,
dude, that must have sucked
down here
because that's got to be the most like miserable place
really
to
depressing.
Be for COVID. Because I was in San Francisco at the beginning, and I fucked up really bad. I signed this lease for an apartment building where like I was living in the South Bay, which is like really boring, like San Jose. It's kind of like shitty. There's nothing going on. And San Francisco, for all of its problems, is like really fun. And so like March 2020, we were kind of getting like a little bit of the COVID scares going on. We knew some shit was going on. But I genuinely was stupid, and I believed the 2 weeks to stop the spread thing. And so I signed this lease in an apartment building where it was like pre-furnished, month to month, thank God. But it was like 7 people in this like really nice apartment building. Still expensive as fuck. But that's where I spent the first 3 months of COVID. And after, we had a great time. The people that I lived with were cool. We enjoyed ourselves. But like after we got to like June of 2020, I was like, all right, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Something. Yeah, that's how, exactly.
I don't, dude, if I was in like, even here, even this apartment building, like I couldn't imagine being in a 500 square foot studio by myself.
Oh, that's what I was in. Yeah. It's,
like, how do you not blow your fucking brains out? You had a dog too?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Mac.
How's he doing?
He died.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I had a dog named Max that died in 2020, so we're in the same boat. Dead Dog Club.
Ugh, brutal. Yeah, he was like my little buddy. So I rented a car and we just went on the road. Like that's basically what happened after like a year there. Because they were like 2 weeks to a month. Like maybe it'll be 2 months. And you're like, I could use 2 months, but then it's like year. And then
so you stayed there for a full calendar year.
I stayed there for a year. Yeah.
So what did you do? Is there like anything that you guys got into? Were you guys like going to Washington Square Park and stuff? Or?
No, like I learned to paint. Well, I painted.
How'd it go?
I learned to paint, but I didn't. I like it. It's fun. It was relaxing. And then we, when shows comics just kind of took the reins on it in New York because the clubs were all closed. And so we were doing like shows in parks out, and in parking lots, and just anywhere that was outside that we could do a show, we would do a show.
Yeah.
I did one off of the back of a truck. Michael Che was doing shows off the back of a truck in a huge parking lot and we would just draw these big 6-foot circles and just have people sit in those and be like, 6 feet.
Yeah, we had those circles in San Francisco too, and I was like, we would sumo wrestle in them. We were just
we did. They just watch comedy. Like, yeah, it was nuts. It was really crazy, and I don't know. I feel like people either thrived or they kind of like just survived, or they did not do that.
Yeah, some people blew up during COVID.
Well, I think the people that are tech savvy and really good with like creativity on the web, like they just slayed,
Yeah, blew up.
I love being in front of an audience, and so like for me, I was just like, this is brutal.
Yeah, I did a few of those park shows in New York because
yeah,
my parents live in Connecticut, and so that's who I stayed with for like basically all of 2021. Not basically all of 2021, all of 2021. Yeah, and so I would poke down in New York. Yeah, it was great. We had a good time, but I'd go down to the city and stay with some buddies and go do like spots, and some of them were really fun. And like I got to go up at like the stand and stuff when shit was, there was like a brief window in like April of 21 where it looked like we were coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. And the stand was doing shows like inside outside almost.
Yeah. So I got to do inside in the basement, which is a fucking awesome room, dude.
It's a great room.
I was shitting my pants nervous though. Cause I've always wanted to go up there, and then I hadn't. You know what it's like when you're like going up every single night. You just feel like, I don't know, you can just walk up and say whatever you want. You start to take some time off, and then you go back into it. And I'm like walking on stage like, what the fuck do I even say?
Yeah,
like
I
have no idea how to do these bits.
Or it's like also like a lot of my material. Well, I guess some of my material doesn't translate as well anymore post versus pre-COVID, because like I feel like no one wants to hear. It's like Trump was president still.
Mm-hmm.
People had just, I guess in New York especially, like if you brought up politics or Trump or whatever, like you could see the audience just like rolling their eyes.
Yeah.
Like, don't want to hear it. And now I feel like that's how it is now with like COVID stuff, because it's just like too much.
Yeah, it's intense.
It's like beaten to death. Yeah.
Yeah, it's over. I mean, that's kind of what like everybody was writing jokes about for a second. Like it was just like, oh, I'm being original. I'm going to have some jokes about the pandemic when I get back into it. And then like, dude, I've gone to multiple mics and seen like 15 comics do the same bit about like, oh, I tested positive for HIV or like for STD. And it's like, dude, how many motherfuckers have done that bit?
Yeah.
Like, how have you not heard anybody else do that?
They're like, but I do it best.
I'm the best.
No one does it best. It's a bad joke.
Yeah. It's I'm sure the first guy to come up with that, like while it was going on, people must have been like, that's fucking hilarious.
Definitely. I bet he got a laugh. Yeah.
In March of 2020. And then anything after that, shut the fuck up about it, dude.
It's a lot. Well, and the other thing about like getting COVID, and like, I mean, a lot of people know people that died from it. And so it's not funny to them, like,
yeah.
And it just really triggers them or reminds them of their dead relative or friend. And so it's like, you can talk about COVID, but unless it's like a unique perspective that's like definitely funny, why?
Yeah.
Like waste your time.
No, it's not even worth going over.
To me, no, but other people maybe. I don't know.
So what are you writing about? Like what, we're talking about like pre-pandemic, right? Everybody's talking about Trump and shit. Like what do you think what's going to be the thing where it's just like everybody's writing about this right now?
The next thing? Well, if Trump becomes president again, I guess it will be him again.
Yeah.
You can just recycle the old shit. I don't know. I really don't know what the next big thing is going to be, but I do think that it'll be like performed in a bunch of different types of comedy environments, like clubs and all that stuff. They're still going strong, and I think that they're repopulating, at least in New York, but like when they're talking about doing comedy in the metaverse and stuff like that.
I'm good on that, dude.
I think it's going to be huge, in all honesty.
You think so?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like virtual comedy clubs or something? Really?
Yeah, I do.
Ooh, okay.
I do, because I know, I know a bunch of people who have already bought space there, and
they're buying real estate right
clubs. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they're already starting. There's already been at least a couple shows. And
have you done any?
No, not yet. But you can watch from anywhere in the world, And so it's just you can, as a comic, it's pretty smart because you can get fans from everywhere.
Yeah.
Why not do that? Why not take advantage of it,
Yeah, come see me perform live in
the metaverse.
Just show up tonight. Right. Doesn't matter where you're at. Yeah, pop in.
It's crazy.
I don't know. How does that buying space in the metaverse thing work, though? Because it's it's not a finite resource. There's only so much land on Earth. You can just bump it out and make another club.
But it is, you can, but will you? Is the thing. I don't know how they'll be with the space. Obviously,
yeah,
they're gonna not release all of it at once.
Oh, so if it's a Facebook metaverse thing.
Or
then they
if
just
it's just
put the wall up.
This is just all we have. So if you want it, you need to buy it. And if you don't. But it's not going to be around forever. And we're not going to open up more space for I don't know, 6 months or what, who knows.
We should buy a metaverse comedy club and start construction right now.
Let's do it.
What do we call it?
Comedy club.
Comedy club.
I think that's the smartest thing to
I think it's the best one.
Yeah.
That's a great name. The comedy club.
The comedy club.
Yeah. Dude,
because what do you type in? Stand up.
The comedy club.
Comedy club.
The comedy club at Metaverse. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I could do that. Throw the VR goggles on and just put the headphones in and just pretend that I'm killing.
Well, but VR is different than Metaverse, isn't it?
I don't know.
Because virtual reality is more you're putting yourself in a situation where you're for real there. Or you're one. Where it seems more real. And I felt like Metaverse.
So you could go to the Metaverse on your laptop or something.
Yeah, I thought.
I have no idea, to be honest. I haven't really looked into it.
Well, I'll look it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I went to a digital museum on my computer and one where you could walk around. It was pretty, and look at NFTs on the wall. I just got curious.
Yeah, it's the whole NFT thing.
Yeah, and I was this is fucking whack. I don't know if I want to live in this. I'm a fan of the real world. I'm enjoying myself.
I like it too.
I don't want to leave anytime soon.
It hurts my feelings sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. Especially when you get beat down for 2 fucking years. But I don't know. Austin, Texas lifts my spirits. I like being here. I'm pretty jacked up on it.
It's a pretty relaxing place.
Yeah, except when it's not.
Unless you're driving. Because the
Brutal.
drivers here are some of the worst I've ever seen in my life.
You're terrifying to drive with.
No, I'm not terrifying to drive with. I drive like a New Yorker.
Dude,
and these people drive like they are driving, like they're riding on a horse. I've never met someone
Tokyo
who just
drifting.
goes the speed limit.
We had 2 miles to go, and you're we need to cut this arrival time from 3 minutes to 2 minutes. And I was okay, Amy.
Yeah, and we did it, didn't we?
We did. We were driving back, and you were we're driving through the UT campus, and just we're going through this crowd of college kids, and you're don't worry, they'll stop. And I'm okay.
I had a green light. It was a green light.
But it's so funny because when you're in the middle of a college campus, I never have any faith that they're gonna just stop. I'm they're fucking hammered. They're gonna run right into the road.
Do you remember how long I laid the horn on while I was going through them?
You laid it on pretty heavy,
and they stopped.
I revved. Who the fuck is that?
I hate kids.
Yeah, I fucking hate kids, dude.
I do. I don't like them.
You said college kids in particular, right?
I don't. No. I don't like.
Eat that mic, by the way.
I performed I taught seniors, and so college freshmen are just so close to that age.
They're the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just I don't want to.
I have a theory that every 4 years you go back to being a freshman in something, right? Like when you're in the 6th grade and you're starting middle school, like you feel like really small. Freshman in high school, you're kind of like, and then being a freshman in college, like at like 18 might be the most immature you're ever going to be in your entire life. Like I was such a piece of shit, dude.
Most college freshmen are pieces of shit. Like I don't think you should go straight to college in all honesty, unless you really are very confident in yourself and what you want to do, because it's just a waste of time. Like, get to know yourself more.
I was a fucking train wreck, dude.
Take like a shit job and just live and figure out what your true interests are outside of school and outside of your friends, and like what really grabs you, you know, and just then go to school for it.
If you could do it over again, right? Like you're 18.
Yeah.
And you're just like just graduated high school. Where do you go? What do you do?
I don't know. I always wanted to go to college for photography. And so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like a fashion photographer. But I don't think, I think you kind of have to go a little to Europe or be European.
Yeah.
Like a gay European man for that.
New York's a decent place to start, though, right?
Yeah, the school I wanted to go to was in New York, but I went to Kansas, and I think that.
Oh, you went to KU?
Yeah.
So you're real hyped on this fucking. Are you hyped on the championship, or do you not give a fuck?
I was excited. Yeah. I was more hyped on the last one because one of my a kid that used to go to my school that I taught him, he was playing there.
No shit.
At KU, yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, Sharon Collins, he's great.
He's like a starter, right? Isn't he pretty good?
He was. He's not there anymore. That's been a minute.
Okay. Yeah.
But good. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I would have still gone to school. I think education personally for me is I need it. Like I need the structure of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not good when I'm like left to my own devices just to split up my time and get stuff done. Unless
stand up is a brutal business if that's your weak suit, and that's my weak suit too. I'm like, I have no idea how I'm going to manage my day.
Weak suit, you know, like you have to treat it like a job. And if you don't treat it like a job, then you're not going to work.
Well, like I think some of the hardest working comics, right? Like if you sit down and you write for like a half hour a day, you're already working hard, and go up one time a night. You're already working harder than 95% of the comedians working right now.
Yeah.
One set, one little sit down of writing.
5% of the working comics are making all the money.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the person that's like, I'll just go chill and do a set tonight. You're like coming home with like $12 if you get paid. And it's like, what do you want to do with this?
Yeah.
You know, I guess for a lot of people, comedy just really is a hobby and something to get them out of the house and meet people and talk.
Yeah. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think the people that like weird me out the most are the ones where they're like, they talk a big game all the time about how they're like, I want to be a professional comedian. Like, this is what I want to do with my life. And then you see like the effort that they're putting into this, and you're like
real lackluster. You're like,
yeah, they're like, you're barely going up. You're doing like 2 spots a week, never writing, doing the same bits every single time I see you. Yeah. It's like,
no matter if it's a mic or a show, and it's like, what do you?
Yeah, like you see them go up at Vulcan or at an open mic, and they're doing the same act, and you're like, dude. Like no part of you like gets bored doing that in any capacity. Like, come on.
I don't know what it is. I think it's more fear because like once you have it's hard to do new jokes. Like people, I hate it. I love it, but I hate it because I love it because like I'm excited about it. But then if it's like a crowd that's just like not into the show, I don't want to perform a brand new joke in front of them because they're going to make me lose faith in what I think was funny about it, you know? So I would like, I pick and choose where I bring newer stuff for sure. But my only real goal, I guess, when I'm writing is to make sure that like it can reach pretty much any demographic, not necessarily age related, but like race related, social economic status, like all that type of stuff that like just people just understand the joke. Like they get it, they like it, you know?
And that's tough to do because some people like write for a niche. Like they're clearly trying to entertain one small segment of the population.
Eventually your crowd finds you, you know, your fans will start to come to you when you hit it a little bit bigger. But like that all takes so much time. So like really just honing your writing and figuring out how you want to be on stage and what you want to talk about and who you want your crowd to be, you know?
Yeah. I don't know if you had like an ideal crowd. What do you look for in a crowd?
Just like I don't know, smart. I like smart.
Smart's a good time.
I like loud laughers that get my jokes.
100%. Yeah.
You know, it's fun to just fucking murder when you're on stage, but like, there's just sometimes crowds are like, no.
Yeah, they're not even there to have fun.
Yeah,
like, what
I mean,
the fuck?
I've had times here where they've been like, we don't get it. I'm like, that's cool. I get it. That you might not want it. Like it's hard to go into a very small town, let's say in Texas, and talk about teaching in the inner city because I'm saying things that they've just never seen or heard of before, like situations or different like types of conversations that they just couldn't imagine having that were part of my daily life. That they're, instead of like laughing at the joke of it, they're like, wait,
well, I'm sure they've heard it like described in some way on Fox News that this is what the inner city of Chicago is like, and you're like, no, dude, it's actually it's like that, but it's not like that.
Well, it's not like that. If it's Fox News, I'll guarantee it's not like that. Like it's because and what I say is I think I said it earlier in this that the news reports on what they want to report on.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that's the city, you know. It's like that's not the end all be all just because that's your news station. Like go and
check it out,
find out for yourself because like it's just silly that people. I don't know. I don't like it how people can just like judge so quickly based on something that they saw on a TV station.
No, I feel that. I mean, I lived in China for a year, so I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like you get this description on TV of what's going on over there and what it's like. You know, this was 9 years ago. So like 9 years ago, the whole talk was like, oh, everything's developing. It's so advanced. It's like
all farmland.
Yeah, and you get there and like the city that I was living in, it was like still squatter toilets and people living in shacks. And you're like, okay, it's not quite there yet.
Yeah, these people really don't know what they're talking about when it comes to foreign countries that are, I don't know, some like, I guess you could say using us or whatever, but like we do that to everyone. So I think that we have a perception of what America is like. And so we assume that if other countries are doing the same things that we're doing, that maybe they live as great as we do. But then like... Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on over there, to be honest. It's one of those places where it's like, I'm sure that if I went to the neighborhood that I went in, that I lived in 9 years ago, I wouldn't recognize it. There's no way.
Probably not.
Because it's like shit flips so quick. It'd be like living in Austin on steroids with how quickly everything changes.
Over there. Yeah. Well, I mean, not
that China is anything like Austin. It's actually it's weird, but in the opposite. It's weird in the,
like,
this is weird China in the free spirit.
Not weird.
Yeah, dude, like.
Don't tell anyone we're weird.
Yeah, dude, like we're weird in like the free spirit way. They're weird in like the, what the fuck are you guys doing, dude?
Yeah, like, wait, is that a bug that you're eating?
Why are you guys eating snake on a stick, dude? This is fucking weird.
Snakes don't even have bones. You put one in it. I don't. My parents they like to cycle. They were cyclists, and they once biked all over China.
Wow.
Yeah, just to, like their Great Wall and stuff, and like.
Holy shit! When did they do that?
Probably 10 years ago.
Okay, so about the same period of time that I was over there. Mm-hmm. That's got to be unbelievable.
They loved it. Well, they hated it, but they loved it. They didn't like the food, but they liked in the more rural areas.
The food's brutal.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing to get over. Like I got a picture of me from when I was like before and after from when I went over there. I lost so much weight because there was like some restaurants that I really fucked with that I really liked, but the rest of it, it's like breakfast is like fermented cabbage, and you're like,
yeah,
what
kimchi?
The fuck? Yeah, it's like, that's,
or like
it's really hard.
Flavored differently.
Like seaweeds and cabbage, and you're just like, the fuck is this? Like, and we found a few restaurants that we really dug, but most of the time it was just
because we're more meat based and they're more plant based.
Oh yeah, they ate meat, but it was like tasted fucking weird. Like there were a few restaurants that I went to and I go, I don't know what texture that was, but I've never had that before. I don't know what
animals do you think you've eaten?
Probably a little bit of everything. They shut down I think near where I lived, they shut down a dog meat plant. Yeah.
You should have stolen the dogs.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I did want to do. That's why I was like,
let the dogs out.
No, like there's that is it Yulon Meat Festival, like where it's a dog festival. Like
yeah, it's gross.
Buy and cook dogs, and it's it's.
Wait, is tragic. It you say Yunnan?
Yulon. I want to look it up. I don't know if it's I know they have.
I think it might have been in Korea. I think that's
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where it is. It's in Asia somewhere, and it's like protested every year by the people that live there and by people that don't live there. So it's like no one loves it except for the people buying that are participating. Selling. Yeah.
How much of a psycho do you have to be to just like in that festival in the middle of all the protests and be like, yeah, this is great. I love it. let's go get a dog leg on a stick, dude.
Right. And I guess like for like vegans and veggies, like we're doing the same shit. I get it.
Are you a vegan?
No, I'm not.
I'm into
not
that.
A vegetarian either, but like I do feel better when I eat less meat. Like I have more energy.
I'm a weird guy in that like a lot of the things that people cut out that make them feel better don't make me feel better. Like I'm not drinking right now. I'm taking a month off.
Yeah.
I feel exactly the same.
How much time has it been?
Like almost 3 weeks on Sunday. I feel pretty much the same. Like the first 3 days I felt way better.
Well, why'd you do it?
Because I went on an absolute bender. I went on a historic bender for South by Southwest. Like historic bender. Like there was one day that was like the perfect storm, St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Was like a perfect storm of drunk. It was the opening day of March Madness. It was March Madness, St. Patrick's Day, South by Southwest, and like the first real wave of nice weather that we got in Austin all year.
Right.
I went and did Mike.
I thought you were gonna go Molly.
No. Dude, I went and did the Giggle Boys over at Creek in the Cave.
Oh, yeah.
It was fucking awesome. I walk on stage and, dude, like Mike and Eli were doing car bombs. And so I brought up a tray of car bombs. I did car bombs with them. I was doing JMO shots. Hammered drunk at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Just like had to come back and take a nap. Went back, went out every single night that week. And by the time I got to Sunday, I was just like, I need a change in my life. Cause
really?
like, yeah, I was fucked up.
Did you do anything during that time?
Anything bad?
Yeah.
No, like behavioral changes. I was kind of angry one night. I was like kind of just like short with people and a little snippy. And I was like, this is not me. This is not who I am.
Yeah. You think that was all like substance stuff?
I think I was just cooked and exhausted. And I'm not a guy that can run on low sleep. Like, teaching, you probably had to get up early and go. So I'm sure you were running on low sleep. If I get less than 7, I'm fucked.
Oh, 7's my sweet spot. When I was teaching while doing comedy, I was like averaging 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. It was horrible. I gained so much weight during it because I was just like my body just wasn't regulating itself anymore. And so it was
Holy
bad.
Shit.
Yeah.
Was that like when you were doing stand-up too?
Yeah, it was stand-up at night, teaching during the day. So I would get up at like 6:30 in the morning, go teach all day, and then come home and sleep for like a half hour, and then get up and go to a mic or go to a show. And then I was out till 2,
Yeah.
Because like the mics go forever. And when you're a newer comic,
you gotta wait.
Chicago especially, you're getting bumped. Like it's definitely a hierarchy. And it should be.
Yeah.
I think
100% it should be.
Yeah. People that are like, don't rig the mic buckets. I'm like, I'm rigging this bucket. Absolutely. You want me to put 5 shitty comics up in a row and no one laughs, and then the whole audience that
just
was
leaves.
there is gone. Like that's just not a smart thing to do.
I know, dude. Like going to those mics, I feel so bad because it's like, for example, you go to like Lucky Duck on Wednesdays. and they put 65 comics up. They start at 8 and they go till 2.
And that's more like a marathon mic. Like, and I like that because that like can just run and run and run, and people just filter in and out, you know, because it's no one's going to sit through 6 hours of comedy.
Yeah.
But like there's a place in Chicago called Cole's where the mic goes from like 8 to 2 probably. And it's a fun place to just like fuck around. But people are waiting and waiting for hours to get up, and it's nuts. And you get your 5 minutes or 4 minutes. In New York, it's the same thing where you're waiting for hours sometimes, or an hour at least, and then you get 2 minutes to do the mic.
Holy
we've had
fuck.
to cut my mic power hour. We've had probably 65 comics show up in a night, and we'll be like, it's a minute and a half, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you got though. And we get through everyone and it's fine, but like your writing does change. My writing changed based on the city that I lived in. Like in Chicago, when you have 5 minutes to go up and tell your jokes, you're kind of like wordier, like you may be a little bit more flowery with like your adverbs and adjectives and like how you describe things. But like in New York, they're like 2 minutes. You're like, fuck. And you're just doing like, these are the premises, or this is what this joke is about. These are the tags. And like, that's it, you know, and just seeing what lands, or sometimes you just have to say it just to get it out.
Dude, doing those 2-minute spots, it's amazing. Like, to me, that I kept going.
I loved it.
I don't know. I was in a similar situation. I started in Boston, and I was like, I've told this story a million times, but like I would go to a few mics where they had the pre-sign list out, and you would go there early to try to sign up as quickly as you could for the mic, and you'd wait there. You'd be there an hour before the list comes out to sort of be like, I was here this time.
Yeah,
you know, I was here at 6:30.
People kind of regulate, yeah.
Yeah, and then we'd go to sign up, and you'd be 28th on the list, and you would sit there for an hour before the mic started, wait another half hour after the list came out to go up until the mic started, and then wait another 2.5 hours to go up, and you would burn 3.5 hours, 4 hours to do like
4 minutes of material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, dude, and then you do that,
but
you
during
bomb.
that time, you're also writing, and you're also making friends that are comics that will hopefully become your friends, you know, and writing partners and bring you up with them.
I met a couple friends doing comedy in Boston, but to be honest, not that many.
Yeah.
I was more of like, I've made friends really quick here.
I don't know much about the Boston comedy scene right now, just because I've just heard from people from Boston comics. I've just heard very like mixed reviews about how the scene is now. So I can definitely see how.
I didn't like it at all, but I was also only there for my first 6 months of stand up. So I've got like a really
those are brutal months. Also.
Yeah, you're gonna hate it no matter where you are.
Yeah, because everyone hates you.
Yeah, everyone treats you like absolute dog shit.
Right, because it's like, yeah, we know that show.
Yeah,
we did that show too.
Yeah, we've heard you do that bit for 3 months. Right. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, the bit that my first fully formed joke that I wrote bombed on every stage for the first 5 times I did it.
What was it?
It was about my first parent-teacher conference, and I thought it was hilarious. Like, I was like, I know this is funny, and people were just like, "Is this bitch for real?" I was like, "No, is that not funny?"
It just didn't work.
It didn't work. I couldn't figure it out, and then it became my closer, you know, for a long time. So it's like some people will just give up on the, and that's what I'm saying. I don't want to try new material in front of shitty crowds because it's brutal.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know that then. Like, just doing this story, I was just telling a story because that's basically, I'm just a storyteller. And so that's what I do. And so doing that story, like the first 5 times that I did it, and no one would laugh, and they would just like crickets afterwards.
Brutal.
And I'll just be like, you know what? You'll see.
Did you ever, so it's your closer now?
Not now, but yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I love that. Like the persistence of like finishing up a bit.
Well, it's just knowing, because there is like, trust the audience, sure, like see what they're laughing at and not, but you need to trust yourself. Like if you know it's funny, it probably is funny. You're just not delivering it in a way that's funny. Like maybe work on how you're writing the joke, you know, and figure that out. And then who knows what'll come from it.
No, dude, I think like one of the biggest mistakes that I made early on was like I'd have a really funny thought in my head. And then rather than like trying to get the whole thing out there, as I was thinking of it, I would write down like bullet points of what the bit was on a notepad, but I wasn't there yet to the point where like I could figure that out.
Bullet pointed, yeah.
I wasn't there yet. So what I would do is I would go do it and I would have this funny thought and then I'd get up there on stage and I'd be like, Honda Civics. And then like people would be like, what the fuck? But then I figured it out. My whole thing now is like, as soon as I get an idea, fucking voice memo right off the bat. Just so I don't lose anything in the translation from like me to the paper. I'm just like that's exactly smart. The way it is in my head. I want it like that for just like a first draft, you know? Yeah. So I've been trying to do that. And I think that like helped me a ton.
That's so funny. I've never even thought to do voice memos with jokes because I think it's my English background. I write. If you looked at my first like 2 or 3 years of comedy, it's like sentence by sentence, completely written out. And
damn,
every joke.
So you would like write the whole thing down like on paper,
word for word.
Damn, I've never been that guy.
I've always been that person, but like. I could see me doing a lot better now with voice message because like or memos because I'll sometimes like write a sound like but like up at the end but down in front but in the middle you gotta be like gravelly and shit like you know like you gotta change. I think that I'm gonna use voice memos.
Voice memos are fun. It's just easy. It's a laziness thing for me. But like, dude, I do like the slowness of like writing down. You want another whiskey, by the way?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. All right.
No, you're supposed to go, no, all right.
No? All right. Come on. Amy, I got you. Yeah, no, I always thought that I was like kind of a weed guy just because of my appearance. I was like, yeah, I have the hair. I got like the aesthetic. I love weed. And then I realized that I don't like it at all. I hate that shit. Yeah, because like weed, the idea of it is fun to me. I'm just like, that sounds fun, getting high, smoking a joint. And then I smoke weed and I'm like, I hate how high I am right now. Like I'm horrifically
what do you hate
uncomfortable.
About it? Oh, it makes you feel paranoid.
Makes me feel paranoid, makes me feel like nobody likes me, reminds me that I'm going to die someday. And I just kind of always feel like the walls are caving in. So I've always liked other substances. Some of them, you know, more fun than others. But weed has always freaked me out. But for me, booze has always just been a consistent good time. Like I love drinking.
Booze is pretty fun. I like to mix the two.
There we go.
No, but like I don't know, like I think the things that you're describing that you feel are like what a neurotic Jew feels every day. And so like I'm just there anyway. And so the weed kind of like puts that out of my head.
I feel like neurotic Jews and the Irish are, in terms of like just like anxiety levels, pretty similar. Like I'm Irish. I don't look it, but I think like we're feeling the same anxieties, but we bottle. And I'm trying to unbottle a little bit and be like, you know, more open and honest. And, you know, my dad would say that I'm I should push it down maybe a little bit more, be a little bit more composed. But yeah,
I feel like, I don't know. I like to drink and I have fun doing it. But if I find that like maybe I'm acting like in a way that like is hurtful to somebody else, like then I need to check myself.
Yeah.
Unless they deserve it, you know, but like
100%.
Like you don't want to be that person.
Well, I was intimidated by you the first time that I met you because I came down here in October and I think you were hosting some type of mic here.
Oh, probably just Power Hour.
Yeah, it was Power Hour, but you guys would roast the comics in between.
Yeah.
And one of the comics, like you were up there with somebody else and one of the guys tried to fuck with me or something. And I just like, I didn't get it. I wasn't there at the beginning when you were explaining the concept. And I was
did
like,
I say to you, did I go, were you here at the beginning?
You did say. I was like, what the fuck, man, dude? Why are you fucking giving me so much shit? And he's like, and I'm just like, dude, fucking leave me alone. I'm trying my fucking best. Fuck off.
Did
and
I
he's like,
explain it to you? Who was it, I wonder?
I don't know who it was, but I didn't get the concept, and I kind of like buried myself in that regard. But dude, yeah, I
a lot of people do that. Power Hour is a show that's like difficult to catch on to, but it's also difficult for newer comics to do because it really is the thing that like the show is meant. Okay, here's how the show goes. It's for your listeners that might not know. There's I'm on stage here. I'm on stage. In New York, I'm not on stage, and we run it as a show. But here, I'm on stage. I have a drinker on stage who's also a comic or comedy adjacent, who's just very quick and good, you know.
Yeah.
And both of us have mics, and we will interrupt the open micer that comes up to either give a tag or say this joke has no direction, you know, or be like, yeah, that's a good fucking joke, you know. It doesn't, or just talk shit, and a lot of the reason for that show and that we do it for as an open mic for newer comics is because when you get on a stage for the first time in front of a real audience, you can't control what they're going to do. You have no idea what they're going to do. You're already nervous as shit.
Yeah.
Your jokes are probably written on a list on your hand, or you brought something up with you. You're probably just like 2 seconds away from wanting to bolt, you know?
Yeah.
And so what this does is it gives you those interruptions, and it gives you the, well, what about this? Or what about this? And you can be like, oh, I already wrote this. Thank you. Like it just helps you in front of a crowd to be like, I know how to
get used
handle
to the idea of
myself
like people interrupting you in some capacity.
And interruptions, all of that. Yeah, that's what that mic is for. But a lot of the comics here, I find especially, don't take it like that. Like they take it more as an insult that you're like degrading their comedy, when it's like, oh no, I'm your best friend right now on stage, at least, because I'm going to tell you that this could work better like this, you know? And when I'm saying this could work better like this, I'm like, this will work better like this. So you should do it like that. But if you don't want to, that's cool.
Dude, I think we should tweak it a little bit and do exactly that. But we should do it and do a power hour, like a power hour while we do the power hour show. Like, you know, like
true power hour.
Well,
the comics
we should get up there together and do 60 shots
drinking.
Of beers. Like 6.
Nah, I don't do it because the show will completely, like, I just like slow drink whiskey while I'm up there, and it still goes off the rails every single time because the drinker will usually get so hammered.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. Okay, so the reason that we don't do it shot for shot, minute for minute, is because it's too distracting.
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna be like, it's time in the middle of someone's joke. You're like, let them do the joke.
Yeah, that would be immensely distracting.
Shot time. Yeah, I think that. So that's why I just have.
Could just do 8 beers in an hour. See if you can do it.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a power hour?
No.
You ever done like a case race or any of that type of thing?
No, but I went to KU, and it was the number 8 party school in the nation. Then I moved to Chicago, and that's
Chicago's a drinking town, right?
School, yeah. And then New York, and now I'm here. I think I just like drinking towns, basically.
What would you say is the biggest drinking town of all those 3?
Chicago.
More than Austin?
Yeah. Oh, hands. Yeah, we have winter. A true winter.
Winter is
You're not
brutal.
doing anything in Chicago in the winter, but like just drinking.
Sit down and get
and
fucked
regretting
up.
your choices. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I lived in Boston for 3 years. I understand but it's like you drink in Boston because like during the winter you're like, I'm cold. This sucks. And then during the summer you drink because you're like, it's nice out. This is great. Ooh, let's go to the beach.
Let's go drink.
So it's like, dude, I lived
spring and fall.
I lived in Southie, and they had the beach, you know. I was like 2 blocks from the beach. And so you're like, oh, that's wonderful. But like part of the year it's brutal. So nice. And then part of the year the beach just serves as a vehicle
tunnel,
for wind,
right?
to just fuck you up.
That's how the lake is in Chicago. Where if you get if you're like lucky enough to go up like into one of those high rises right on the lake, you can see how the ice on the lake just like breaks apart into these just sheets. It's really cool.
Just moving around and shit.
Yeah.
That thing freezes over sometimes, right? Or is it too big to freeze into one sheet?
It at least freezes in the closer to the shore, but like where where we are, it looks pretty frozen, like all the way out. Because it's Michigan. Also, it's cold.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Lake Michigan is cold as fuck. Dude, yeah, we used to do a fishing trip on Lake Ontario. It was awesome. I love going out there. They stock it with salmon.
Oh, I was like, what kind of fish are out there?
None. I mean, it's a weird lake because it's like they're not that old. Like historically speaking.
Well, no.
Like they're like brand new. Like the lakes are like 10,000 years old or something, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they were formed by the icebergs.
Yeah, the glaciers like retreated, but it only happened like 10,000 years ago or something. So there's some lakes that have been around since like the dawn of time, but those are just like, in terms of like geology, they're like as new as shit can get. They just showed up.
When I grew up, we were by the Lake of the Ozarks, and that's a man-made lake. And so it's like one of the most, I think it was at one point like in the top 3 most dangerous lakes in the world.
Why?
Because people die on it all the time because of drinking. Like they'll go out on a boat and just flip the whole fucking thing, or drive off the road, or something happens, but like they'll get sucked under something and done. But there are deaths every single year.
Yeah,
on that lake, just from partying.
There's a lake in my hometown. People would die all the time.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah, there's so many bodies down there, babe. Well, and there's like Kansas City Mafia and shit. There's got to be
there's a mafia presence
in Kansas City. Yeah, but there has to be so many bodies at the bottom of that lake.
Yeah, Kansas, the infamous Kansas Mafia, as you know. I don't really know anything
about it.
No, I don't know anything.
Did you watch Ozark? It's in there.
Oh, those are the ones, the Kansas City Mafia.
Those are the exact mobsters. They are like, we'll act in it.
That show is fucking fucked up. Very blue.
Yeah.
I don't know why they color everything blue in that show. It bothers me a little bit.
It is blue.
Yeah. Puts a weird color over everything, like a weird tint.
Yeah, the lake itself it's not filmed at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Oh, it's not?
No. That lake, like you put your hand in it like a half foot under, you can't see your hand anymore.
Oh, really?
It's gross.
That's disgusting.
It's just brown water. Like it's not, because it's so much mud and stuff churned up.
Ew. Yeah, because
it's a lake.
It's a man-made lake, so it's probably just put on top of dirt and shit. So it's fucked.
Like,
that
now
shit's
fill
fucked
it
up. Gross, dude.
It's huge though, and there are some really nice areas, but it's also, I think, one of the Lake of the Ozarks, I think, has one of like the like home bases for the KKK also.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're just like
they have a very strange, the KKK has a weird tie to the Lake of the Ozarks.
What's the weird tie?
I don't know. I need to look it up. I haven't looked it up because I used to work there at a Jewish camp for like 3 summers.
Oh, I'm sure they love you guys.
I'm not going to look it up. Yeah, it was, yeah.
They come knocking on doors and stuff.
Right? We're like, no.
Wait, so you worked at a Jewish camp?
Mm-hmm.
When was this?
College.
Okay. Yeah. What was it, like a Jewish girls camp, or like
no,
everybody?
It was boys and girls. It was Camp Sabra, Lake of the Ozarks. Great camp. You guys should send your kids there.
I was always jealous of kids that got to go to camp in the summer.
I never wanted to go to camp, and then
really,
no, not at all. As a camper, no, but as a counselor, I was like, yeah, I'll go chill. Like I just didn't want to like spend my summer at home after college, like, and then having to like follow rules again from my parents. I was like, I'd rather just go work somewhere.
You're the counselors. You're in charge.
Yeah. And we would always we would take our kids hiking all over. The last year I worked there, we took them. I was like working with the oldest kids in the camp, and it was called Masada, which is a mountain in Israel that you can climb and see the sunset, and it's nice. And,
sick.
And there's a lot of history to it, but I'm not getting into it. But with Camp Sabra, our group was called Masada, and we would take our kids hiking like all over Colorado. And we would take a bus out there, and we would do a week and a half of just like basic training with our kids that how to like climb mountains, and this is how you pack for that, and this is how you deal with this, and this is how you deal with that. And then like, but we're also Jews. So we were like, or hotels are so nice. Right?
Yeah.
And one of the second session, there were 2 sessions per summer. And the second session that I was working Masada, I got so sick on our Colorado trip that I had to stay in a hotel, and it was like just luxurious. I loved it so much. And I was like, why am I
often
camping?
at camp.
Yeah, honestly.
Oh, dude, like a hotel when you've been on the road is so nice.
This hotel, I had like I don't know what I had. I had the flu, I think. And then I had 2 campers with me because one was sick and one had like terrible asthma or something. Mm-hmm. And my older brother he was our leader person for the trip. And he was so mad at me because I got sick. I'm like, I don't think I can we had like a 3-day hike coming up, like up one side and down another side of a mountain. I'm like, I don't think I could do this. Like, I think I'm gonna die. So, and then those 2 girls couldn't do it. So he put us up in a hotel and Telluride. And I remember this.
Ooh, nice.
So nice, dude. I remember this because the woman was like, okay, so the room isn't ready yet, but if you come back in 45 minutes, it'll be ready. I was like, all right. And we come back in 45 minutes. My brother had already left. He had the credit card. I had like some like petty cash, but not much. And I was like, hey, we're just here to check into the room. And she's like, okay, so there's been a mistake. And I'm like, well, we don't have money. So we're going to be sleeping on the street if you can't fix this. And she's like, no, we fixed it, but we have to move you to the so-and-so suite. Ooh. And we were like, okay. And she's like, come back in 45. And we're like, not a problem. We're like, we got a suite. Like, holy shit. I've been living in a tent, by the way, for 2 months at this point.
Brutal.
And so I was so excited. And then we came back in 45 and the woman was like, I'm so sorry. There's been another mistake. And I grabbed her wrist. I go, you cannot send me back down. You said suite. Yeah. I need a suite. Like, I need the suite. And she's like, you have a presidential suite. It'll be ready in 45
Oh minutes. My God.
I'm like, we'll be back. So I come back in 45. We get to this presidential suite. I have my own room. They have their own room. We have hot tubs on the roof. It was just like everything I could have dreamed.
Holy shit.
Spending 2 months in a tent.
You guys are what, like 19? Just like living it up too?
Probably 21. I don't know. And then I go back. And then after 3 days, we went back to meet up with my brother. And I woke up in the tent the next morning with pink eye. He was like, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Wait, did he like fart on your face or something?
I don't know what happened, but like something happened where like there was definitely
some practical jokes going on.
Right? And I was like, well, now I have pink eye and I'm going to go back to the suite.
Yeah, campers will be campers. You take the campers out of camp. You can't.
God, schmucks.
Yeah.
But I just did a comedy show for them, actually. It was really fun.
Really?
Yeah.
You went down there and did it for the camp?
I did it online.
No shit.
It was actually like kind of, I've never done a show like this before. I did it. They asked me to do the show, to do like, I think 25 minutes. And I was like, sure. And then they're like, so it's not going to be in person. It will be online, but it's going to be pre-recorded. And I was like, all right. So no audience at all. No.
Pre-recorded?
Yeah. So pre-recorded on camera.
Fuck?
So it gets like really like hard, because I went to New York Comedy Club, which if you're in New York, you should check out New York Comedy Club. I went there during the day and they just recorded me on the stage, no audience, doing the jokes. And the first time I did it, we just like took breaks between because I was like, I had to write a new 25 for it. So it was like all within 2 weeks. And it's like writing a new 25 and performing it all within 2 weeks, and performing it for an audience that's not there, that's just going to listen later, is like really brutal, And so I did this taping and sent it to them, and and they loved it, and so I thank God. But like it was an experience like I've never had before. Just talking to a video camera in the comedy club that I'm used to having a ton of people in and laughing, and like
it's like the corporate gig from hell though. Like 25 into a mic.
But like such a like
I'm sure it paid though, right?
It definitely paid, and there was also like it's just cool to try to see what you're capable of. you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty neat. But also I have like ties. So like I can tell like a story like that and they'll get it as opposed to just doing like straight.
Yeah, dude, those corporate gigs can just be brutal. I've done a couple.
I've done a couple and some were brutal, but I've had 2 that were like the most fun. My
Really?
first one was the most fun. It
No
was here,
shit.
actually. I was flown down to Austin. They put me up in a very nice hotel, and I did 45 minutes. And it was a friend from high school who owns a business, and he's like, hey, I just saw you do. We hadn't spoken in probably 15 years. And he was like, I just saw that you do comedy. I run a corporation. I'd love to fly you down. We're having our annual thing where I just take all my employees on a vacation. This year we're going to Austin, and I'd love for you to do the comedy. And I was like, yeah, dude, let's do it.
That's what's up.
And everyone was like the nicest, and they were like bringing me shots on stage.
Yeah, some feeders in between.
It was the most fun, right? Most corporates aren't like that, but yeah, this one was a blast.
Yeah, dude, those I've done a fun one. I did a fun one over Zoom, which was wild. It was like like an insurance company thing.
Yeah.
And everybody was just such a generous audience. 10 minutes, fat paycheck at the end. Like the definition of easy. Mm-hmm. And then I've done one where they were like, "Hey, it's the company Christmas party type situation." And then it's like everybody's hanging out. People have brought their kids. They're doing like a gift exchange. Everybody's at the round banquet
if it's
tables.
Corporate anyway,
dude. But it's like the type of situation where people are watching the stand up like this.
Corporate is very different. Oh, ooh. That's rude though.
Oh, brutal! Like turned around watching me, and then they were like, "Can you roast the CEO?"
No. Is he paying me? No.
Yeah, and they're like, "Well, just do a couple things." They were like, "It would be really funny if you did a mock interview." And I was like, I don't want to do a mock interview with this guy.
I've never even had a real interview.
Yeah, that sounds awful. And they're like, "No, just do a mock interview. Like if you could just ask him some technical questions, and it'll be really funny when he bombs."
Make the boss look stupid, and then what?
So I asked him these interview questions, and I was like, "Can you do like merge sort?" And he's like, "They told me to ask you that. I thought it was fucking dumb." And then everybody was just like, "Yeah, it was dumb."
Yeah,
it was fucking dumb. Brutal.
You know what I think I would have done in that situation is probably started with my question, asked one of theirs, let them watch it bomb, do another one of mine, do another one of theirs, let them watch it bomb, and then stop doing theirs.
Yeah.
Because people learn.
Just prove it to them.
They need to see. Yeah. Which isn't like, I don't think that's a mean thing to do. I think it's like
no, it's not. And it's like
the nicest way you could do that.
I mean, because if you've done stand-up, you get the idea right off the bat that you're like, oh my God, like your first time, you're like, the shit that I wrote is not funny. Right. Holy fuck. And then if you've never had that experience, you kind of have it in the back of your head. You have no idea.
And you're like, he said it wrong. You're like, no. I didn't say it wrong.
I said it right. I fucking nailed it, dude.
I did it right. And it's an inappropriate question to ask your boss, dude. Like,
yeah.
No. You're wanting me to do your dirty work is what you want.
100%.
That's what some corporates could be used for, sure.
Dude, but it's such a nice paycheck for such little work, too.
It's a really good paycheck.
Especially when you're getting like just a few bucks for around town spots.
Just one corporate a month.